Have you always wanted to learn how to rivet blanks onto leather?
Well, you're in luck because we just shot a really fun video on Facebook Live.
And we show you how to rivet snap rivets and nail head rivets.
I like this part. So just remember, this was shot live and we've edited it here for you on YouTube. So give us a like and follow us. But you'll hear us talking to people through the live video. You might hear an airplane, but there's so much good information. You guys are gonna learn a lot.
And I tell jokes and those are timeless.
It's true. So welcome and let's get into the video. Those are timeless. I think we're here. Hey everybody, it's Lisa, Niven, Kelly here, Beaducation.com, Beaducation Live with
Mel McCabe, product manager here at Beaducation.
And we are excited today. We have so much to show you. So we're going to be riveting a blank on leather, like make a big old bracelet if you want. And we're going to show you all different ways to rivet. We have a tip of the week coming up. Stick around because your favorite part.
We're gonna do a giveaway, but we're not gonna tell you about it yet. But stay tuned. And also, if you guys, can you guys tell us? Can we sound okay?
Yeah, let's take
can
a
you
look,
hear
see if
us?
we're live.
Can you see us? Where are you viewing from? That's my favorite part. Is afterward to check out and say, I'm here from Phoenix, Arizona. Or
Look, there we are. It's working.
Oh, it is working. My hair looks a little flat too.
Can I mess it up?
If you want to. What are we talking about today?
Well, we're going to rivet on leather. And I have so much to show you that let's do it. And we're gonna go down here. You come around too.
I'm coming too.
All right, everybody. Welcome, Maria and Deborah. Deborah's from Nebraska. Now we can see the screen so we can say hey to you guys. Maureen says we sound great. Thanks, you guys. Hey, Cheryl, what do you think of these leather bracelets? Pretty awesome, huh? Okay. So I'm gonna show you guys so much stuff. Let me just do a little pan here. So see all these tools that I've got? You do not need this many tools. I just want to be clear from the very beginning because I don't want you to be overwhelmed. The reason I'm showing them all is because you could rivet with this hammer or this hammer or this hammer, and maybe you have one of the three. So I'm trying to cover a lot of tools so that you don't have to, you know, go particularly shopping today, although if you want to, that would be fine.
That's true too.
Yeah,
I do think that's kind of you. I like that.
Yeah, I want to show, hopefully you have
use.
what you need. Yeah, totally. Oh, look at Kelly's here from Syracuse. All right, so first I want to show you the whole motivation for today's video is that we just got in these beautiful hand cut from Georgia these amazing leather cuffs. We also have it in pink. This is one I'm demoing with.
Oh, and don't forget the turquoise.
Where's the blue?
That's my favorite one.
You were hitting me with it.
Yes, I was.
All right, so I don't know. Sometimes the quality of the video isn't great, but I'll just hold them here for you guys for a bit. So we've got turquoise, pink, this amazing like denim blue with a braid, black, my favorite, purple. This is like a wine suede color, a little metallic brown. And, oop, that's the back. This is brown. Look at this one. It's so beautiful with the stitching.
I do love that. And you guys, they're so soft. They feel really nice on. I've been wearing them every day for the last couple weeks, and they just feel really nice. And they smell great.
Yeah. Smell them. Can you smell them? All right, so with these, the snaps are 7 inches from snap to snap. And if you needed a different size, we can easily order it for you if you do a minimum of 6.
That's right.
So just email.
Yeah, if you need 6 inches or you need 8 inches, just email special orders at Beaducation.com and we'll hook you up.
Yeah, and if we get enough requests for a certain size, we'll probably just go ahead and add it to inventory. All right, before I get into the riveting, I just want to talk through.
Oh, sorry, they're 1 inch wide, Kelly, just to let you know.
Awesome.
Except 1.5 inch on the braided one.
Yeah, that one's a little wider. And they're hand cut, so they're a little tiny bit variety, but that's the approximate. All right, so a couple of samples I have here for you. Those of you that are in our private Facebook group, which if anybody wants to join, just search for Beaducation.com community, metal stamping and beyond. And I did a live video over there a couple of weeks ago, and this is a bracelet that I made.
I love that.
Isn't it great? So this top piece, I think this was in honor of like the Wonder Woman movie coming out. Look how big it is.
Yes.
I'm so excited for that movie. This top piece was just cut from a 24 gauge piece of sheet metal. I just went for it. I think I just used the shears and just cut. It's pretty big. It's about 2 inches by maybe 2.5. I used a bunch of border stamps, Team Kelly. That's what I tell my girls. We're always Team Kelly. My children, not my employees. You're Team Kelly too. And then here, I punched the holes in the metal, the leather, and riveted, which we're gonna go over. I used nail head rivets with the pre-made head on the rivet on the back, so it rests up against the leather and holds it tight. Trimmed it, riveted it down on the front. And I don't know if you can even see the rivet, but it's there. Same on the other side. Now, as far as the process and the order in which you wanna do that, that's what we're here for today. Just another sample, if you don't want to rivet, you can poke the holes. This is actually a total of 4 holes because it's, well, wait a minute. Yeah, 1 in the leather, 1 in the metal, 1 in the leather. So this is 3 holes here and same on the other side. And this is just tied on with 28 gauge wire. I don't know how well the coverage is here with the streaming today, if you can see it, but all I did was loop through, loop, 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 and I really like the way it looks, and then just tied it off, just looped around the wires on the back. You like that one?
You know, I like it a lot, and I used to do that method when I was a little afraid of riveting, but now that I've riveted, I can't believe how easy it is, and
Yeah.
I just think it's really easy and it's clean.
Agreed, yeah. So there's this, you can also do this with string, which is really fun, you know, because you can get a little pop of color right
That's
there.
cute too.
Yeah. This guy is riveted. This is one of our, what do we call these, Mel?
Vintage pewter pendants.
Yeah, so it's really thick. It's got some good weight to it. And we just cut off the top loop and filed it. You know, remember that with any blank or charm that you see, you can always cut off the top loop and make it into whatever you want. And there's a rivet right there and right there. See how nice that is? Be fierce.
I love it. I think it looks like an ornate mirror, kind of like a Disney ornate mirror.
Yes. You said the magic word right there. All right, so there's that. So there's just a few examples of what you can do. Today, though, I've already started on this. And this is a black leather cuff. I'll try to get it a little closer. I don't know if the focus will appreciate it. I have bent this mandala that Taryn made, which I'll go over in a minute. I've already riveted it on this side. I riveted on a little bird solely for decoration because I like the way it looked.
Super cute.
Yeah, it's cute. And then the nail head rivet on the back. And together right now, we're going to do the other side. I'm also going to, with you today, rivet this onto this pink one. So this is really big. I wanted to talk about when to shape and how to shape and when to poke your holes and things like that. This one I'm going to use the larger snap rivets that look like, let me get a couple in my hand. I don't know if you can see that, but they look like this and they're really easy to use. And it's kind of nice because it leaves like a larger head on one side, so it's a different look. Okay, so let's start with bending your metal. First of all, you're going to want to bend your metal and then rivet it to the leather. If I had left this straight and riveted to the leather, when I go to bend the whole thing, this is so much higher than this that it's a different bend. And in that case, this is going to end up puckering underneath. Or let's say this was metal to metal. They have to bend at a different like speed almost, because one is so much higher than the other, so it's a deeper bend that if you have metal on metal and you go to bend it, it's hard. So I prefer to bend them both, get them together, and then rivet it.
It's like when you're spooning, someone has to be little spoon and someone has to be big spoon.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Different angle.
It's true. You're good. I love the analogies. Keep them coming. Okay, so in this case, I did bend this guy before I went ahead and measured the rivets. This is aluminum. It's 18 gauge. It's pretty thick. So it didn't bend nicely with my bracelet bending pliers, which is what I love to bend with, which is what I bent this with, because this is thin and really malleable. If you have something like this or this that is harder to bend, I actually use the bracelet bending bar. In the case of this guy, just put the circle in there and pulled him over a little bit, flipped it and pulled it over a little bit, and it gave just the perfect bend. You only need a slight bend, not a really severe one. You can also put it on a bracelet mandrel and hammer it. Sometimes you can grab it with the big barrel here and give it a slight bend depending how wide it is. Again, just showing you a bunch of different options. We actually have some pliers coming in with big barrels on them that'll work really great. But let's say I just wanted to bend this guy. I'm not going to rivet this, but I wanted to use it as my demo. For this guy, since it's thin, I would just use the bracelet bending pliers. And you want to figure out where you want the bend, you know, orient it to how it's going to sit on your wrist. So I'm going to hold it straight and just come in and squeeze along. Flip it over, and you can't squeeze too hard. Look at it like hitting both sides with, you know, 2 nylon mallets or something. And just squeeze all over. And you can see I already have this nice curve.
That's nice, so it's hard to mess it up.
Yeah, in this case, for sure. Now, if it was a really hard metal and I wanted a more severe one, I could come in here and give it more of a bend that way and bend that way. So again, different options to getting it. And honestly, if it's thin enough and you have enough control, you can just, I usually just do it with my thumbs. My little weird thumb has a nice angled pad there. Angela says hi. Hi, Angela.
Hi.
All right, so let's say that's the case of this guy already. It's already bent. So I'm going to place it on, let's pretend here, the piece of leather, and then I'm going to bend the leather and then decide where my holes are going to go. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
I actually go ahead and clasp it just in case it's the clasp is off.
Do you need me help do that?
Do you need me help do that? I have no strength. Okay, and then hold it to make sure that it's centered exactly where I want it. Is that making sense? Sound good? Any questions so far, Laura, that we should know about that we didn't see?
Everyone's just riveted to this video.
Oh, they're riveted to the video. You're funny. All right, so let me get some of these tools out of the way because I'm going to need to scoot up my bench block. All right, so for this guy, again, I'm not going to just like rivet it flat, right? Can you guys see you don't want that gap? You want it to already curve and fit all nice.
Tilly has a good question. She wants to know if we sell all these things.
We sell it all, Tilly, everything except this table. But everything and that gray pad, everything else we do on our shop on Beaducation.com. Come check it out. And we have tons and tons of free classes there. All right, so what I'm going to do here, I've riveted down this side like I showed you guys, but you can see it's still loose. And that's because I didn't want to set it, like absolutely set it. I will do that after I finish this rivet, because sometimes depending how wide your leather is, you need to come in and punch that hole, and I kind of want to scoot this out of the way after I mark it. That's just personal preference. And hey, you guys that are out there, I know you've made some of these, and if you are a leather cuff riveting pro, throw out some tips. We'd all appreciate it. Okay, so now I need to mark where I want the hole for the leather. So I'm going to just take this pen. I don't know if that pen's going to work. It's not thin enough. I'm going to take this piece of wire.
Oh, that's good. Because it's probably a little different with black too.
Yeah, and I'm just going to like
Mark it.
hopefully mar it. Yeah, you can see my little dot there. Again, I marked that after it's bent. So let me just back up a little bit. Here's the order for marking holes or doing holes. I punch them both in my metal. Then I punch the first side where I want it in the leather, making sure that everything is lined up, right? And then I rivet it. Then I go and punch the hole in the leather for the other side. So I don't go hole in metal, hole in leather, just in case after I rivet this one, if I go to do this one, it's shifted. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So wait on that guy. This is not a huge deal because it's not much of a bend, but when I go to do the second one, it's going to be a really big deal. All right, so I'm going to scoot this guy out of the way. I'm going to use these hole punch pliers. The rivets I'm using are 1.5 millimeter. So I'm going to use a 1.5 millimeter hole punch plier. You can use a power punch, you can use a leather punch, and I'm just going to try to get a hole right there on my dot. Oop, airplane coming in for a landing. All right, so now I can put my rivet right through that hole. I don't want to forget my other little bird.
Where'd it
Can
go?
you hand me that box right there?
Did it fly away?
Oh no, it's here.
Oh, okay.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
And
Oh, you did.
They are really excited because they haven't done this and they've been waiting and wanting to learn how to do this.
Ooh.
Sweet. So remember too, everyone, if you're just joining us, this will always be on our page under videos. So if you need to go back and watch the replay, we'll eventually archive it over on YouTube where we will have much better quality. So, all right, here's my rivet and here's my bird. Again, I don't know how blurry that is for your streaming, but I'm going to put the rivet through the back of the leather. If I can find my little hole. Sometimes it doesn't punch all the way through, so I'm going to use that wire again. There we go. All right, I'm going to put this all together and then I'm going to take it apart and give you one more tip. Through there, through the hole in my blank. There we go. And then the bird will go on top. We'll talk about cutting and riveting. But if you wanted to have this head of the rivet on top and do the riveting on the bottom, like let's say you wanted to use a decorative rivet. We have hearts, flowers, balls, all that. This is a little leaf. So if you were doing the opposite and you wanted that to show up on top, so you brought it first through the metal and then, where's my little hole? Through the hole. If I can find it, it's like a pierced ear here that can't find its hole. Let me do it again with this guy. Maybe should have punched a slightly larger hole. There we go.
I think it's a little tougher with black too, to be able to see it as much.
Yeah, I think actually what I remember is these decorative rivets are a little bit
A
bigger.
little bit thicker. Yeah, that's right. It is.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm
The
going to
decorative maybe about
grab,
1.6. Yeah.
I'm going to grab the fat daddy.
That little bird is separate from the rivet. You're
Right.
only riveting the bird to.
Right. So the little bird is actually a solderable that we have all the solderables that you could use to decorate your regular nail head rivet. So we just punched a hole in the bird and
That's
then
my little hole. There we
put the rivet in and then put the bird over the rivet. And then you're going to go ahead and hammer on top of the bird, which Lisa's going to show you.
Great,
Yeah,
thanks.
I'm trying to get this hole. The lighting is really weird and I'm at this weird angle so I don't hit the camera.
But the nice thing is you'll notice that when you look at the solderables, you'll see them totally differently, knowing that you can kind of make them the top decorative part of a rivet.
Definitely. All right, so I just had to make a larger hole, which won't impact what I'm doing with the other rivet. But okay, so I've got it here. And now you saw tricks. If your hole was too small, bust out a larger punch. In this case, I only had the power punch and I have that set to the smallest hole. So if you want to use a decorative rivet, you're going to come in from the top. On the back now, you're not going to be able to trim this and rivet it like normal because the rivet head that you will create is too small and it's not safe up against the leather. It could rip through. So what you can do is a variety of things. You want to have a little piece of metal. Again, I don't know if this is going to fit because oh, there we go, on the back to back it. So what this is for me, this is just a circle that I punched out of a piece of scrap with the largest part of my power punch. So that's a nice tip.
Yeah.
So if you've got some scrap, you can punch out little tiny circles. Then I would be able to trim it and rivet it down. I hope this is making sense to everybody.
You could also use just little tiny small blanks.
Yeah, exactly. Here, let's come over here in the light. There we go. So these we sell, these are just small blanks. They're a little bit bigger than the solderables, which also work.
That's right.
You can just pop a hole right in those so that the back isn't ugly. You don't want to have just a piece of scrap on there, right?
But the circle looks pretty good too.
Yeah, the circle looks great. I could even have used this little dove on the back. You just need something to hold your rivet so it's not going to rip through. Make sense?
Yeah, something for the rivet to grip onto.
Yeah, the rivet needs to
Instead of
grip
soft
onto
leather.
it.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's the beautiful voice of Laura that you guys are hearing. Everybody who loves Laura. Okay, so that's not what I'm doing on this piece, but I thought it was important to talk about it. Let me move this out of the way. Okay. So, oh, my bird flipped upside down. Now I'm going to grab my nail head rivet, go through the hole in the back and up through the middle. Again, if I can find that hole, there we go. I'm going to need to trim this, but first I want to put my bird on. Hopefully I won't keep dropping this because it's really little. Okay. I don't know, again, how well the streaming is with the coverage here today. Now I'm going to need to cut this to about 1/2 millimeter to 1 millimeter. Honestly, I usually eyeball it, but Kim St. Jane teaches that you can cut a credit card. It's about 1 millimeter thick, punch a hole in it, and use that as a guide. And Aisha has shown me that she makes these little tiles. So this piece of metal right here is 18 gauge, which is just teeny bit over 1 millimeter, so it's perfect. And I'm going to actually lay that down. Man, I need glasses. I mean, more than I already have. And once you lay all that down and pinch it down, I know exactly how much to cut. I can cut exactly right on that tail there. So let me move it up a little so you guys can see. I'll try to zoom in. I don't know how well this will go. Oops.
It's showing up pretty well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so what I'm going to do is hold everything nice and tight, come in with my cutters, my flush cutters, press down, and trim. And that is going to leave me the perfect amount to rivet down.
So any 18 gauge blank you can use kind of at your...
Yeah, or a credit card or an old key card to a hotel room. You can go ahead and start riveting from here, but I like to start with a really flat head rivet. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a file just to get that little pinch out. I find that this just gives me a really perfect rivet. I'm going to start riveting it down, but I'm not going to rivet all the way because remember that other one isn't riveted all the way. So I want to make sure everything is set perfect. Okay, couple of things. We have here a variety of hammers. And you need every single one if you're me. But if you're not me, you probably just need one, and you probably already have one. So these two here are traditional riveting hammers where they've got the long part on one end and a flat head. And for riveting, let's pretend my hand is the top of the rivet. You're going to come down and travel across the rivet and then either shift the angle of your hammer or shift the angle of your rivet and you like that sound? Now again, my hand is much bigger than this rivet, so it's just very little tiny. So what I do is I do on my rivet, and I usually shift my bench block. Yeah,
tapping
and try to travel across. And what this will do is spread out the wire. If all you do is one direction, it's going to spread it out in an oval, so that's why you shift. Once you have what we call a mushroom head, and I'll try to show that on the camera when I get there, then you come in with the flat part and flatten it down to set it. Everybody's happy. Now you can also use a chasing hammer. Aisha also taught me this tip. This is my favorite hammer. And you can use the ball end and just, if this was a rivet, I would start in the middle and sort of spiral my way out. I mean, again, it's tiny. It's more like the size of my thumb. Well, it's much smaller than that. And it will spread out the head. And then you're going to come in and so either way totally works. I'm not the type of teacher it's like you have to do it this way. I have moved from a riveting hammer to this because honestly I think it's a lot easier.
I do too.
Yeah.
And Kelly had asked, can you do it without the riveting hammer? I do like the chasing hammer, the ball side as well.
Yeah. So it's going to be hard for me to show you the angle correctly. So I'm going to start on this guy and then I'm going to hold it up so you can see the progress. Okay. So even though this is curved, that's why I'm hanging it right off the edge of my block. I don't want to do it in the middle because it's going to flatten back out my piece, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So is my head in the way here? I got to get down pretty low. Hello. Okay. So I'm just going to tap. What's that?
It's looking like the video stopped a little bit there.
Oh, I think it's still going. We're good. Okay. So I'm going to tap.
Right on top of the dove.
Yeah, not hitting the dove.
Not hitting the dove.
Really careful just to hit the rivet. And that's what I like about this. I mean, it really has a small striking point. Again, if I were using the riveting hammer, I'd be like traveling across, do, 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 shift, travel across, do, 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 that sort of thing. But let me try to get...
It mushroomed a little.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do that.
And you notice I'm moving really slow. I'm not like bam, bam, and we're done. Okay, I can tell it's already mushroomed because it's holding. I'm gonna try to hold it close.
This is a 4x4 bench block, because Alejandra just asked.
Oh, good question. And you can use a 2x2 or 2.5 by 2.5. I don't think you guys can see it there, but trust me,
It's mushroomed.
it's mushroomed. Mel saw it. She's my witness. So to me, it's not mushroomed quite enough. You want to make sure too you don't flip to the flat end when your rivet is still pretty long, because you're going to end up just tipping it over rather than flattening it.
Oh.
I have definitely had that happen. So that's why you want to cut it to a 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter. The other reason I like this hammer or chasing hammer is it's a little bit heavier, so the work gets done faster.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so now I'm happy with both of the heads of those rivets, and I'm about ready to do the final whack. Not one whack, you'll see. But before I do that, I want to move the doves to where I want them. I notice with these guys, once I bend it to my bracelet or to my wrist, they stick out and they're a little bit sharp. So I'm going to have them flying up like that. Cute. All right, so now I'm going to go down now that I'm happy with where everything is. And with the face of my hammer this time, same thing with your riveting hammer. And this is where, if you're in the middle of the block, you see it, I kind of shifted it, you'll start to flatten it. Everything is set on this side.
And that just keeps the dove from spinning around and makes it a little tighter fit, right?
Yeah, and everything is held really tight. Right. Yeah. Cute. I would have preferred there. I still have a little wiggle room.
I love it.
Nice
Can't
and
believe You
clean.
made me that bracelet.
Oh my gosh, is your birthday coming up? So there you go, there's that guy. Toss any questions out that you have about that.
The doves will stay in place if you have it riveted down enough.
Oh yeah, Deb, good question. She asked if the doves will stay in place. So you want to, like, this guy is slightly moving. If that bothered me, I'd come in with the last couple, boop, boop, boop. Well, not like that, but
So no glue.
boop, boop, boop.
No glue. No glue.
Yeah, we're not going to glue it. No gluing. That's a bad word.
To Lisa, I kind of enjoy glue. Not for riveting, but you know.
All right. Someone said cute with a question mark. I think she thought we said cute and not glue. Okay, so moving on from that, guys, because we're cranking along here. How we doing on time? This is a long one. On this one, we are going to rivet this guy. Now you can see that if this was flat, I don't have a flat piece of metal here, and I riveted them both, I'd have a really, when I bend it, this would be really puckered underneath. So I bent it first. This is pretty thick and it's strong aluminum, so I bent it with this, flipped it to the other side, bent it. Obviously I pre-stamped it. These are some of our new stamps, and I accidentally double stamped that lotus.
When she says new, she means ones that aren't even in.
I mean new, like coming soon. This
Yeah.
is a boho arrow, the lotus, the traditional arrow.
They'll be here in a week or two, just to let you guys know. And also, Cheryl had said she needs to get some of those decorative rivets right now, just to let you guys know. We have the leaves in stock, but the others are out of stock. Go ahead and put yourself on the product notification, and we'll let you know as soon as they all come back in.
Yeah.
They've been popular.
Yeah, they have. All right, so with this one, I'm going to use, where's my little, here we go. I'm going to use the snap rivets, and they end up looking a little bit bigger. This was a sample. I grabbed some scrap, and I encourage you to do the same thing to get used to how to use these rivets. I first just riveted that like right through the metal, and then I thought, well, I might as well do it on leather because that's what I'm going to be doing. So you want to practice correctly. I found that the top rivet that I snap in looks prettier than the bottom one, so I'm going to keep that on top when I do the riveting, which is really easy. You guys are going to love this, but definitely grab some scrap. They come in packs of like a
50
million
or 100.
or 50.
Yeah.
Let's just say a million. No one's going to count. And they look like this. They kind of snap together. We also have them with crystals on it. You use them the same way, but you use a little more padding and be a little more gentle, because
With the crystals.
they can crack, yeah, on the crystals. All right, so here's what I did so far with this bracelet. Like I said, I bent this, and I'm going to line it up. I brought the bracelet around. Let me try to do that here. And laid this on here centered, right, to the snap, and marked my first hole, which is over there, and punched it. See that? For this, I used the power punch because I needed a pretty large hole. So you can use, for these rivets, either the large side of your screw down hole punch, which is 2.6 millimeters, I think, something like that.
2.3 on the large.
2.3. Or you can use the smallest of the power punch, which is a very popular tool. This guy has replaceable punches. It has like 6 different size holes, up to pretty big. All right, so now that I've got that marked, I'm going to go ahead and rivet down this side, and then make sure everything's perfect, mark the leather, and rivet the other side. So like I said before, put your holes where you want them in the metal, center everything, poke a hole in the leather on one side, get that all set, then do the hole on the other side. On leather, again, if you mispunch the hole, you'd probably hide it, but when you're doing this with metal, you really don't want to punch that 4th hole until you know exactly where everybody's going.
But you have to rivet the first side before you punch the second hole in the leather?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that what I said? No? Did I say poke both holes in the metal, one in the leather, get that riveted, then do the other side? Okay. Sorry if I confused. Okay, so for this guy, I'm going to take this end of this rivet, stick it through, get it through my metal, and put the lid on, and hopefully...
So this involves no cutting at all.
Right.
Or measuring.
And they should snap together. I don't know if this is going to be too thick for this. I've actually not tried with this thick metal on the leather, but we're going to find out. So see how they're kind of snapped together like that? I'm going to do like I did before, lay it on the edge. I'm going to have to bring this off the edge of the table because it's too high. Here we go. Just like so. Okay. Because of the curve, I'm needing the edge. Let me come down a little bit more. Can you guys see that? There we go. And then this is a rivet setting tool. It goes right on top here. And with a decent whack, but not too hard, you're going to set that guy down. Now let me see if he's stuck.
Yes, Mary, those are snap rivets.
Yes.
See, it's still a little bit wobbly, so I'd come in, actually, because of the camera angle, it's a little bit weird. I'm kind of moving it around like this as I hit it. And there's my one side.
Oh, TM, I hadn't even noticed Lisa's toes. Those are cute. You got a cute peach kind of color on there.
Thank you. Did I get a shout out?
Yes, you did.
I'm glad I wore cute shoes. Not my Birkenstocks, Mel. She likes to tease me about my many Birkenstocks. All right. So there's one side. Look good, huh? So now we're going to come over here and not like this, but like this, totally get everything set. I am going to take a pen. This pen will work this time because the hole's larger. Find out
it's pink.
Yeah, it's pink. My toes?
No, I mean the bracelet. It'll show up too, even if you just
Oh,
didn't
got
even
it.
poke it very hard, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. Make sure though when you're doing this that you're not like off, right? Like really
Yeah.
take your time and center everything. There's my little spot. Uh-oh, look at what just came undone.
Oh no!
It's because I'm hanging
too
off,
thick, you think?
I'm hanging off the edge of the table because of the camera, but I can fix it.
Oh, so you weren't able to hit it hard enough?
Yeah,
And we were so busy looking at your toes too.
I know. I think what I'm gonna have to do Well, let me take it off of this. Mel, entertain them while I do this. I'm just kidding.
I think
I'll show you
that,
my toes.
rivet on the edge. This is the inspiration for Aerosmith's song, Rivet on the Edge, you know?
Is that what they say?
No, I think it's living on the edge.
Ah,
I was trying to be entertaining.
That was good. That was good. I think I got it that time.
So the leather does have a little bit of give because it's a flexible material, so it can squish down.
Yeah, you can really whack it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because of this curve I'm having to hang way off the edge here, but I'm not really worried about it. Oh, we're gonna get this.
Oh, they wanted to see what the underside looked like, but we'll show you that. Oh, there, Lisa's gonna show you it right
There
now.
it is. All right, so my little hole is right there. I'm gonna come in. Again, the lighting's a little weird where I am and I'm blind, so let's hope that I get it in the right place.
Nobody liked my rivet on the edge joke.
Did anybody like Mel's joke?
Thank you, Laura.
There we go. So look at like how far off it looks.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
But then when you bend everything up, it's in the perfect spot.
I see where if you hadn't bent it, it would have definitely not been correct.
Correct. Correct. All right, so that guy goes through there. Sorry, I'm off camera. Not very professional today.
Thanks, Deb.
What did Deb say? She liked your joke?
Yes, I assume, because she said she was laughing.
She's laughing at.
It was funny, said Alejandra. Thank you.
Okay, so here's the issue here. See how that's just barely poking up? Just to be honest to you guys, I hadn't tested it yet on this, and it might be this thick leather and this thick metal might be too much. It might be too, make it too thick for this snap rivet. So if that's the case, I would take this apart and just do a normal rivet. But let's still give it a try. Right?
Right. And there's lots more likes on your joke now.
Oh, thank you, Laura.
All right, let's go back to the toe cam.
It's okay.
Where are they? Hi!
Live toes.
Let us know if you hate toes. We have a friend, Mindy, who cannot even discuss feet. She's so grossed out by them. Oh, I could feel that guy drop, so I know that that's gonna work. Awesome! Doo, doo, doo. Let's come up from toe cam. All right, you guys. So see how these rivets just give it a different look because they're nice and big. Beautiful on the back.
I like it. I like that it's clean and you don't have to cut anything too, which is
Is
nice.
this your birthday present too?
I do like that one.
Okay.
It's very nice.
Awesome. All right. So look at the mess that we made here, you guys. Check it out.
Can I give a tip with the snap rivets too?
Do.
The tip is if you are I'm gonna go around light here. Someone who polishes a lot. If you're doing the aluminum, you don't have to polish the aluminum, so you're fine. But if you go over your pieces, if you're doing sterling and you use the snap rivet, don't polish with the Pro Polish pad on top of the snap rivet because it is a copper core. So it's nickel, and also that's interesting if you're sensitive to base metal. It's such a small part there, but I mean aluminum's great, so you're not going to be, I don't know anyone who's allergic to aluminum, but you might want to go with the sterling rivets if you do have allergies, and then you can expose a copper core if you polish over the nickel rivet, which you shouldn't have to, like I said, with aluminum.
Oh, I love that. I didn't know that. So that's riveting with the snap rivets and with a pre-made nail head rivet. You can also create your own rivets from wire, and we go over that in our riveting class by Kate. I think it's called Introduction to Riveting, right? So in the case of that last bracelet that I'm glad that the piece came apart. It was a learning opportunity.
I'll model it.
It's a learning opportunity for you guys.
And by the way, the leathers are available on the site now.
They are available.
Right
I was just
here.
packing them up.
So in the case of that one, if those didn't work, I could buy a longer nail head rivet, which are available, or I could use a riveting system, which I'll get to in a minute, or I could make my own rivet from just plain wire, which is pretty cool to do as well. So the riveting system is a tool, sorry, airplane, we're right near a small airport. The riveting system is a great tool for riveting. It's got a hole punch on one side, it rivets down kind of like a tube rivet on the other side. there's more than that to say, and we'll probably maybe do a live video on that maybe
Yeah.
later this summer.
Yeah.
But we do have a product video on our site, as with most products. So if you go and click on that product and click the video, we'll show you how to use that tool. It's also really easy.
It is
and
really
nice,
easy.
like really nice finished look.
But I love this too. I especially love this when you're just starting out, just, because it's not difficult.
Yeah, so even like this makes me think of, this was a long bracelet blank, and I had already made a cuff and I just cut it shorter. But what if you had screwed up on your cuff and like messed up the sides? You're like, oh, what am I gonna do with this? Cut it, and use the pieces for
that's a
different,
good idea.
right? Like, maybe you wouldn't have thought to use a mandala on a leather cuff, or maybe if I had messed this up, I could have done another piece of copper right over the top and put a rivet through the middle, cover up your mistakes. You're meant to do them, mistakes, of course. All right, any other good questions come up
We
that I
do have a
missed?
couple of questions. We want to know if we'll have links available to the product shown today.
Yes, when I'm done, Angela's out today. She's usually our link doer. But when I'm done, I'm going to scurry on over to my desk and answer any questions that we weren't able to answer live, and throw up some links and throw up closed captioning. There's a whole lot of post-production that we do, so keep your questions
Not
coming.
me, she does it.
I do.
But I also wanted to mention, just because I've been in the warehouse today, and I've been pulling a lot of the leather bracelets and a lot of the plaques. So I don't know if you guys, I should have grabbed some plaques for you to look at, but Lisa will provide a link. If you check out, there's aluminum plaques, sterling, every single metal. They're so great for
They are.
the 1 inch width on the leather. And in fact, I just pulled a gal's order, Jill. Hi, Jill, if you're watching. And she had gotten a bunch of the plaques and a bunch of the leather. And I was like, I know what she's doing. I was excited. I thought, man, I wish I could go over to Jill's house and, play with all our merchandise.
We're coming. I know, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Again, I just want to mention the private Facebook group. If you guys haven't joined yet, there's a lot of sharing and learning going on there. It's a really fantastic group. Even if you're a brand new beginner who've never stamped or made any jewelry, it's a great place to be for inspiration. It's called beaducation.com, metal or community, metal stamping and beyond. We tried to cover it all in there, but just do a search. You'll find it. It's on Facebook, obviously. Any other questions?
There were a few before. I think you're probably going to follow up with them after
Yeah.
the session.
We've got Laura
here.
over here answering our questions for us. Okay, well, Laura, if you are willing to hit the bye-bye button, we
All
can
right.
sign off for the day. Anything else, Mel?
I can't think of anything.
All right, come join our group, and thanks everybody for watching today. We hope you have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.